Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab. What I do, what I do for you. Got something nice for you today. A good lesson, more information on how to be a better you. Let's go. You know what we do. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. Message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You too, and I hope they're working out for you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right Thinkers mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinkers way of life through a mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers do just that. Know thyself through the information I relate to you that you can implement and use and do just that. Know thyself with it. So let's go. That's my mission. Your goal is to obtain it and use it. Knowing thyself is the end goal for all right thinkers. Okay? Let's go. I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. If you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. That's why I do what I do for you. Help you to know you. A person who knows not and knows not that they even know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You can teach them why. They know that they know not, so they're willing to learn. That's why I do what I do. Teach you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows, but knows not that they know. It's okay. They're spiritually asleep. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. I'm still in my priest and priestess mode. So right now, I'm gonna give you a breakdown of it says the concept of the guru and the concept of the Seba. Seba. It's spelled Seba. Now you see at one, the student is sitting at the foot of the guru. Their concept was that the Eastern and Indian concept was the teacher sits and the student sit at his feet. Hence, you come sit at the feet of the teacher or the master. Okay. The Egyptian concept was we taking you to the next level by initiating you after passing the true initiation to the next level. So it's about acquiring more knowledge of self, furthering your information by practicing the higher level of understanding. So let me tell you about that right quick. This is my I like this part. This is what I do. Here it says the left on the left side was the guru, the Vasista teacher, the Lord Rama. In the Indian concept, you have Vishnu was the teacher and Rama was the student. With ours, you got Haru as the teacher and Ani as the person coming in, okay, the initiate. All right. This section is included here. Why? For those who are, listen, for those who are considering treading the path of right thinking philosophy, and for those who may have been exposed to the Indian system of the teacher disciple relationship. I have a disciple relationship. I'm the disciple, my pastor, my teacher of my biblical concepts. I'm learning from him. So even I become a student. You don't teach without being a student. You only can learn from being a student. And once you learn and master improve, then you're able to teach. So moving on. I don't teach what I don't know. So the teacher disciple relationship, so that what? So that they may understand. Again, I'm understanding the biblical concepts. So, and understand, watch this, the similarities and the contrast of what ancient Egyptian, African past, and you got the Hindu, Indian path of what priesthood, aka right thinking philosophy. They are there are many similarities in the traditional roles of spiritual preceptors. Watch this. of ancient Egypt and in India. They're right next to each other. Excuse me. But also, watch this. You got some fundamental differences. hmm In every culture, in every religious system, you're going to have similarities, you're going to have differences. But the differences that you have should not make you go to war. That's my point. We can live harmonious together and respect one another's differences without killing each other and dominate the other one because you want your God, his God. So that's the main wrong concept. Watch this. So now we have fundamental differences even with the Indians in Egypt. In ancient Egypt, the priests and priestess were what? Revered. Why? As enlightened counselors and spiritual leaders, or aka sages. Those are people who they respected for how they conducted, carried, and did what they did. Not just been title chased, so I'm so and so. Nope. You had to prove your worth. Watch this. And there were few cases, watch this, where there are canonized or considered as what? Gods and goddess as such. And the one that I know of was Imhotep, first multi-genius. He mastered every endeavor that he involved himself in. He mastered the craft from building pyramids to medicine, architecture, everything that he got involved with, he mastered. Okay. And if we let him play the level, the playing field out against black and white, we would dominate in any area. Why? Because we just superior beings. But that's another lesson. Sorry about that. But when you are so good, they will canonize you as a god on earth. That's what they did to Imhotep. That's the point. Let me move on. All right, another lesson about that. But Imhotep, watch this, one such example, because again, everything he did, he was mastery. However, my word, they were what? They were charged with becoming one with the totalitarian divinity. That means the one supreme divinity, God. Everybody's goal was to become one with him in their temple, doing what? Their rituals, in order to bring forth what? The glory of that divinity. The priesthood in India, watch this, developed into a highly revered caste of society due to what? The emphasis amongst spiritualists on a particular form of yoga, which they got five of them, but they had one major one called the path of what? Bhakti, spelled Bhakti. Now, as well as the disciplines of the Upanishads, following a spiritual preceptor and revering him or her as a possessor of what? God consciousness, aka spiritual enlightenment, master of self, sage. Okay, that's an enlightened being. You don't just become enlightened, you have to study and live and manifest your consciousness to be God conscious. It's some work that you have to put in. That's the difference. Now, bhakti means what? Devotion, commitment, devotion. If you serve a higher self, you have to be committed, you have to be devoted. That means devotion. Specifically, watch this, in developing the capacity of what? Divine love as a means to achieve what? Spiritual enlightenment. All roads lead to you becoming spiritually enlightened, knowing thyself. Now, in the path of bhakti, one must listen. One must develop love for who? God. If your love ain't for him, this ain't for you. Okay? So you must develop love for God and a process that is made easier for what? For immature, spiritually immature by developing what? A love for the guru, who is what? Revered as what? Listen, a personification of God, aka the word made flesh, God in the flesh, with the knowledge and understanding of who he is, excuse me. So you can recognize it, understand it, follow it, and become the same way. Have knowledge of self to know who you are. But there's a practice and a process that you have to be part of. I'm part of it. Been part of it over 30 years now. I'm not leaving. Moving on. This is the same idea. Watch this. That is what? Behind the use of statues. Not being adulterous in that manner, but statues of what? The divinities and what? Both the Commission and Indian tradition. We both show signs of God from our perspective of teaching, and we're going to break it down for you as we go. Watch this. Watch this, that it is easier for a human mind, listen, to focus on what? Focus on and accept and love something that what? Has a name or form. We had to give God that so we can recognize and understand it. That's what this is all about. That's what spirituality is all about. Getting you spiritually knowledgeable of God because He's not seen. Okay? Watch this. As opposed to what? The formless, transcendental self. That's God. But it's ways that you need to understand how to get that concept and understand it. Thus, they use what? Icons and spiritual preceptors, teachers, and they served as what? Alternative focuses for what? The mind to facilitate. Meaning it's able to comprehend and understand the lesson. I give life lessons. This is what it's all about. That's how you teach and get people to understand. It's a myth. Does it really exist? Don't worry about that. Get the message. Never mind the messenger. Get the message. So what? You can facilitate it in what? Shifting from your egoistic interactions with the world, which is the gross things, time and space, with world of what? Names and forms, and to still what? Embrace names and forms, but okay, no, excuse me. Yeah, same thing. And still embracing names and forms, but watch this. Now with the shift from what? The worldly to the what? Divine. Material things, worldly. Spiritual, divine. See where we're going with this? Spiritual icons, here we go. Spiritual perceptors. And finally, what? When one has become sufficiently, again, you have to learn and show sufficient proceeding, okay, proficiency in the preceding degree. And when they have shown sufficiently that they have been immersed in what? The teachings and have received a glimpse of what? Cosmic consciousness for themselves. Once you get the message I'm trying to get across to you, my job is going to be a lot easier. Why? Because now you want it. Now you're craving. Now you are interested. I'm trying to get you to understand it's something better than yourself and way better than what's out here in the physical world. And it's all inside you. Let's go. So transcending even what? The world attachment to these spiritual names and forms, the spiritual perceptor and of the icons. They're there to set the precedent, to give you understanding, to point you in the right direction so that you can follow something and find out for yourself. It's called manifestation. You got an ancient Egyptian proverb, and it states, watch this. And I love when I read these little excerpts because it says a lot. And this was ancient. This is not now. It's still perfect to this day. As I say, truth and gold don't tarnish, don't change. It's very hard, watch this, and this is true, to leave the things we have grown used to. If we're brought up in a household that taught us biblical concepts, and you live by them concepts, this is what we're talking about right here. And this is the perfect example of the brainwashing that takes place sometimes without even knowing it. Now it's pretty much programmed in. But the ancients told you it was hard to give us something you've grown used to. Why? Which meant our gaze on every side, appearances delight us. That's the word. Okay. Whereas things which what appear not to make their believing, things that you can't see. God is conscious in thought. He ain't seen. So it's hard for people to grasp the concept. That's what it says. And it's which appear not make what? Their believing hard. Again, it starts with belief. Once you follow lessons, you'll become a Gnostic. That means a knower. Why? Because of experience. Evils, watch this. The evils are more apparent things. Did you know that? Watch this. Whereas the good can never show itself. Why? Until the eyes. For it hath neither form or figure. God don't have to do nothing but be God. You have to recognize and understand who and what he is to you. Something different to somebody else. Still God. Again, understand that. You have to be conscious of differences and understanding what they mean for each individual. Watch this. Of all marvels, that which most wins our wonder is what? Is that man has been able to what? Find out nature, the nature of God, and bring it into play. What he's saying is what I'm trying to explain to you. Learning about God, reading about God, yeah. Praying and worship, all that, yeah. But do you know God for yourself from experience or just what somebody tell you? Right thing of philosophy gives you the opportunity to know him for yourself. I'm trying to be cool. And learning the nature of God, again, that's your gun. You got God, concept, God. Then you got the universe. That's the present. And then you got nature. Those three things is God's signature. If you understand those things, you won't have to worry about being an atheist and all this other nonsense. Certain things you just know. Okay? So that's what knowledge is. Knowing. Watch this. Now, since then, our earliest progenitors were in what? Great error. Why? Seeing they had no rational faith about what? The God. And that they paid no heed until their cult and the holy worship they chanced upon what? An art whereby, watch this, they made gods. Understanding, knowing God. You don't make God. To this invitation, okay, this invention, they what? They conjured, listen, a power that suited it and derived from what? Cosmic nature and blending these together, watch this, since souls they can't make. Only God can do that. And man's trying to do everything God's done, even they can't duplicate the soul. So recognize, understand. So watch this. It's a soul they cannot make. They invoked what? Demons, souls of those of who? The angels, and attached them to what? Their sacred images and holy mysteries. Sound like the Bible? So watch this. So that the statues should be means of what? These possess the powers of what? Doing good and the reverse. If you haphazardly playing this game, you're gonna either end up going this way or the other. If it's done correctly, it's only one way, the right way. So now you got a quote from the Greek Dionysus, the Applegate. He's the writer under his little name. But watch this. This is his concept. If anyone suggests that it is disgraceful to fashion base images of the divine and the most holy orders, it is sufficient to answer that the most holy mysteries are set forth in what? Two modes. One, by means of similar and sacred representations akin to what? Their nature. And the other to unlike forms designed to what? With every possible discordance. Discordant symbols are what? More appropriate representations of the divine. Why? Because the human mind tends to cling to the physical form of representation and believing, for example, watch this, that the divine are what? You ready? Golden beings or shining men flashing like lightning. Anybody remember the movie Goldfinger, James Bond, the first one of his first movies? He he painted his girl all gold. She didn't move. The body needs to breathe. It's a cell, a human cell. So if you paint it and cover the body up, it suffocates, so it kills you. So no shiny golden beams. I'm just saying. But if we can put it in a metaphorical state, okay, it's the sun rays. You're golden. I get that. but I'm not gonna get a golden person. Moving on, but that's my mind. Okay, flashlight. The light is in here, the heart. Okay, the light is the spirit, the spark that gives us. It ain't got to be bright. No, it's just the size of a mustard seed. Remember? Sorry, but least watch this. But least this era before us, the wisdom of the venerable sages, again, save the day and lead us through what? This harmonious dissimilitudes, and dissimilitudes are similarities, things that's the same but not different. I look that word up. Okay. So, and not what it is not allowing what? Your irrational nature, meaning your objective part to become attached to those unseemly things. You don't believe what you don't see. Doubting Thomas, remember him? Okay, that's the concept. But watch this. Divine things may not easily be accessible to who? The ignorant or the unworthy. Nor may those who, watch this, earnestly contemplate the divine symbols dwell upon the forms themselves as final truth. The concept of God, the understanding of God, that don't change. It's been that way. Mayat has been Mayat since it's come into existence. God has been God since come into existence. No here, there, in and out. Nope. So you got to deal with this concept. I'm almost there. Wow. Yeah. The Upanishadic tradition, Indians, watch this, of India, highlighted, watch this, the importance of being close to and listening to the teachings of who? Spiritual preceptors, aka sage priests, priestesses, in order to what? Gain the necessary instruction and guidance and the insight to understand the mystical teachings. You have to be a good student. I had teachers who I was a pain in their butt. Why? Because I was constantly on their lesson. I wanted to get what they had. I wanted to learn. So I kept on. They knew I was aggressive coming to get their allowance. So they gave it to me. I feel the same way. If you ask me questions, I love to give answer to those who got questions. Moving on. That's the beauty part. Now, all of this did what? Led to a developing reverence towards who? Spiritual personalities. Now you gotta remember, I'm the teacher. I give lessons. Get the lesson. Don't fall in love with the teacher. They said, if the message is bad, don't kill the messenger because the message is bad. He's just delivering it. And don't fall in love with him if the message is good. So it got to be understood both ways. Okay. But you got to remember, they show reverence. They develop a reverence towards spiritual personalities. Watch this. And the highest being what? The guru. I'm a sage. I'm a guru in practice. Okay. And time goes on, if I stay good, then I can reach that level. That's the highest level. Okay, right now I'm at the low level, but I'm at a level. How about that? And watch this. The guru, this is what I'm talking about, is treated, you ready for this? Now, if this ain't ego building or not, as God incarnated. Why? Because that person is seen as a walking, talking conduit of what? Divine awareness, which we can all bestow, can have, he can bestow wisdom and enlightenment directly from what? From the source himself. But Duke, he said, man, put the books down. You don't need no book. Wait, no. I'm a teacher of the book. I like to break what somebody wrote down so that you can understand it and use it. That's why I use the book. I don't need to write a book. I got a bunch of books to use. And I don't to write the same thing. It's going to be the same thing. It ain't going to be much different. So I ain't got to reinvent the wheel. Just put another spoke in it to help it go smooth. Okay? I'm just worker, a servant. I know my place. Okay, but watch this. Because the gurus are seen as walking, talking, conduits of what? Divine awareness. That means they have the knowledge of God and they can recall on it from within themselves. But however, here we go. The danger here, and there is always some danger, that if the practice of yoga, of devotion, and if it's practiced what? Improperly, meaning you deviated from what is said to do and did what you thought or what you wanted to do. And watch this. When it's practiced improperly and can easily This can easily occur when what? When the practice of spiritually immature aspirants. Thus, this can prove to be a major hindrance on that spiritual path, leading to what? Stagnation instead of upward movement towards God and transcendence, meaning you're blocking your own blessing. You're blocking the road for yourself when you do what you want to do and not what you were told to do. Quick story, Icarus, him and his father. His father made him some wings so he could fly, and so they broke out of prison. Okay, but Pop told him, again, the elders always give advice to the younger. Watch this. Younger, we need to follow the elders' advice to the letter of the Lord. Wow, watch this. He said, son, don't fly too high. Of course, you get too close to the sun, it melt the wax and the wings, you'll be done. But don't fly too low. Why? Because the water, the moisture from the ocean will melt the wings. You got to fly just right. You got to keep your balance. Again, let me go back to my balance. But what did the son do? What he wanted to do, show off. So he soared higher. He went higher. Pop said, yo. Nah, he's going, watch me, Dad. Look, all of a sudden, the wings started, the max started melting the wing. And because he was so high, or go up, got to come down. Lord gravity said, without the wings, without that feather to smooth it out, you're going to go, whoa, death. Why? Because he didn't pay attention. He didn't follow the rules, the letter of the law. Didn't do what his old man told him to do. And again, the lesson there, the moral story, follow the instructions to the letter of the law. If not, it could cost you your life. Moving on. This is because why? The aspirant, right there, instead of relating to the personality of the guru, like I got a favorite, my man, Sadi. I got a few of them, and they're all good in their own ways, but I don't have I got a personal favorite. Yeah, I do, Sadi. Okay, so watch this. Now, as an instrument for the flow of what? Divine consciousness. To me, everything come out of his mouth is profound, as far as I'm concerned, and development, what? An attachment to the divine through the guru, understanding that he is an instrument from God to help you out. I'm a sage. I'm trying to get you to master yourself. Once I do that, I gotta go somewhere else. Why? Because I'm gonna help somebody else. I'm not gonna stay with you. No, I just help you out and I move on. Moving on. Again, and through the guru, you become what? Attached to the personality, the name, and the form of that guru. Society. Sometimes, watch this, you get so much that the guru, if that guru dies, they can't allow themselves, watch this, to become associated with another guru. He's human. He's a representation of God. Okay, he's representing God. Understand that. So what he's giving you is from God, and that's a good. But when his life is over, you don't stop searching for knowledge. You don't stop getting information. You find somebody else. Men, women, when our other half passes on, they don't want us to stop living. They want us to go on. So you go get you another mate and more. Some people don't, but that's what you're supposed to do. That's your right to do that. If you choose to do otherwise, that's yours. Again, everything is by choice, but it's showing you how certain things, the natural order of things, you can't get hooked all of a sudden because it ain't there. You don't do it. Sorry about that. Let's get back to the lesson. I'm almost there. But now the personality of the guru may be a replica of what? The divine again, but it is nevertheless what? A worldly image. He's human and reminder of what? Time and space, thus making devotion to a personality of the sage is still considered a worldly attachment. It ain't about me. My pastor, the best concept of that. Why? He's humble enough. He don't want no credit. He give it all to God. I understand the concept. So getting attached to the messenger of God or not liking the messenger of God don't work either way. It ain't about that. Okay? It's about the message that he's giving or bringing. That's the concept. And watch this. This is what Dionysus, in the last paragraph I read to you, was pointing out in the above quote as the reason that the Commission sages, watch this, configured zoomorphic animals. Remember, you see Ra, Haru, and Asar with the falcon head. Nobody else. They did that for a reason. Okay, moving on. But you got the animal, zoomorphic animal, or you got the composite, man and animal combined in one. Man body with the scarab head. Okay, moving on. It's part of a what? It's considered to be part human and then part non-human. And the images as divinities. Why? Because they recognize that non-human representation of the divine will what? Will give the mind a name. When you see that falcon head, you know a name and a form to focus on. Again, hairdresser is important. That's what they used them. But we see the feather, we know Maya. But watch this. But will make it less likely for what? The mind to develop blind attachment to what? To that or the concept, and therefore the mind will more easily be able to what? Focus on the principles behind the image and the symbology behind it and to transcend the image itself. We know that the spirit is recognized by spirit goes up. We know that the eagle recognized by Set, a four-legged animal held to the ground. This is the physical domain. This is where he realm. This is his realm where he's comfortable. He can't raise from here. He can't leave here. That's why he wants you to stay here. That's the concept. Moving on. I'm gonna get this lesson. I see the clock is ticking. All right, but watch this. Where we at? The kind of reverence toward priests and priestess was unknown in that kind of reverence was unknown, toward the priests and priestess. Why? In ancient Egypt, rather than mysteries were kept closely amongst who? The initiates within the temple system. When they came in Egypt, they called it the Egyptian mystery system. Why? They didn't know about it. We didn't tell them. It's a mystery to them, and we know about it. You still got occult groups. That's what they was doing then, still doing it. All right. Watch this. But now, rather, the mysteries were kept closely amongst the initiates within the temple system. And watch this. The public was only allowed to participate during holidays. Okay, we did the same thing in Masonic order. Traditions and public festivals. Again, we marched in parades. We had Founders Day, all that good stuff. All right, all rituals. The teachings were, watch this, disseminated within the temple system, and it was the divine and the teaching that were what primarily focused on and not the spiritual preceptor. The teacher was not important. The lesson was, and they understood that. That's why nobody took credit. One about the ego. I'm the teacher. I'm the best teacher. Everybody love me. I do that. Blah, blah. When I was in college, my Greek mythology professor, best professor in college. Why? Because he was the most realist. Everybody gravitated to him. Everybody wanted to be taught by him. So that's why it's the difference. And personality plays a big role also. Watch this. Now, it was perhaps in their wisdom that the commissioned priests and priestesses sought to what? Avoid the situation that had developed in what? Modern India, people liking the man, not the lessons. And watch this. Where the teachings are so peripheralated that there are many, okay, charlatans. We got that now in Christianity. I call them charlatans throughout the country. What they were doing, conning who? The common folk, the ignorant, the less knowledgeable. Back then, we was illiterate. Everybody couldn't read back then, so if you had a little wherewithal, you can swindle the people. It's still going on. Okay, another lesson about that, but yeah, but that's what's going on for a long time. So also there is what no central authority to control dissemination of the teachings, and and consequently, there are many people what saying many things. Excuse me, which perhaps even they believe or correct, and yet are based on what their own imagination, not facts, but their own imagination, sound like the Bible writers, or what fabrications. Further, one many Indian homes, watch this, common people hardly ever study what the book, the Bhagavad Gita. That's the book. That's their Bible. Everybody got one. Like everybody got a Bible in their house. How many people read it? Moving on. Same thing back then. Okay, but watch this. But remain only, watch this. This is a perfect uttering and mantras, verse chanting. Everybody can give you a verse from the Bible. Oh, I like this one. Oh, I like this one. I like that one. But what else you know about the book? Again, from every text, everybody do the same thing. And watch this. Even in ancient Egypt, the Seba was a teacher. It's spelled Sebai. That means a teacher of what? The highest mysteries, advanced knowledge, and he or she led the initiate where to understanding these qualities as the teacher. That's what they did. For more insight into the term of Seba, S-B-A, S-E-B-A means star, illuminated, lightning. Watch this. We're almost home. It means the illuminated force, a shining object. Sabai is also means teacher of what? Right thinking philosophy. Sabai, S-E-B-A-I, is the mystical spiritual perceptor, the next level. Therefore, the reason why teachers are called Sabai, S-E-B-A, is because what? They illuminate, enlighten. Now, what do they illuminate? They illumine what? The Sabbat, S-E-B-A-T. When I told you, you put the T on it, it makes it feminine. That means you're teaching. Watch this. In commission literature, when you add a T to the word, it makes it female. What all this means is that all of you as students are females, whether you are physically male or female. Why? And the preceptor is who? Male, whether he be male or female, physically. Why? This means the illuminator is shining on you, teaching you, just like the sun shines on the moon. And what? Just as the moon is a symbol of the mind, it received emanations of seed from what? The spirit? Okay, excuse me. Oh, I missed the whole line. The symbol of the mind, it received illumination from the sun. I guess, yeah, that right. The illumination from the sun, and watch this, as the student receives illuminating from the teacher. That's the concept. Now, that illumination is an emanation of seed, which is from spirit, which is what men carry, which is received in the mind of the what? The aspirant, which is considered the female, which is the womb. You see where we're going with this? Now, just as in ordinary sexual relationship, male and female, the male is immatus, meaning he ejaculates, and the female is receiving the seed, which is the sperm, and now the female receives, and with that, what happens? Creates, it fertilizes the egg and brings forth life. This is why homosexuality activity will never produce anything. You need a male and a female. Just explain that, moving on. So in the same way, the student is to what? Allow their mind to become pregnant with what? The teachings. Let me impregnate you. That sounds so bad. And watch this. Through my teachings, eventually you will give birth and what? To an enlightened consciousness, aka you will know thyself. Now, to keep this type, this is a tantric philosophy behind the term sabba, because it's always everything in tantra, the Kama Sutra, sexual is all sexual orientated, meaning male and female coming together. So that's what tantric means. Nothing else. Not you're gonna get the no. It's the purpose and the reason. Nature, opposites attract. Tantra teaches that concept. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Oh, I got more. Wait a minute. Oh, sorry about that. I ain't done. Sorry. Now, similarly, in India, the term guru, I want to get this in, symbolizes illuminator, one who illumines. And what he illumines, the cave of the heart, and shines light on there to what? See what is in there, your heart, which is the divine. Knowing thyself, here you go, in the deep mysticism of the commission culture, and there is what? An artifact that is called the Seba Or, S-E-B-A -U-R, and Or means great. Therefore, it is the great illuminator. That's what the gurus are. That's what the sages aspiring to be right now. My little light, I'm going to keep it shining. I'm going to keep educating. I'll be back.